Round 2 of the winners bracket up against Kurt Spice, who has qualified for the Disney O'Connor World Championships. I beat a player in round 1 who had also qualified for Worlds. So I'm seeing if I can do the ultimate underdog story and continue forward in this competition. Kurt Spice out of America. I obviously managed to beat Sailor in round 1 if you didn't see that video. I have been able to tweak my deck a bit. I queued what I thought would be a pretty good matchup. I've tested it a lot, and I have to say, it's pretty miserable. The good news is for me, I felt as though I needed to win the die roll in this one, and I did. So I'm actually going to be going first. I lost the die roll in round 1, but I've won it in round 2, so that's pretty nice. This is Kurt's deck. They are playing Emerald Steel Discard with Diablo Shift, with only 2 copies of the Muses, which definitely does help me a bit. I think if they miss the Muses, that's going to give me more of a chance. We are going to be starting in a minute. We're just waiting for the all clear from the judge. Cricky's very good at questing. Basically, he's going to be able to get to a point where he's going to start being able to race me. I've tested the matchup a lot. I know what I have to do to win. You can expect Kurt to have 20 plus cards in hand, unironically. So I'm playing this deck. It's my Amethyst Steel story deck. And I'm playing Doc now, which isn't very good in this matchup, I have to be honest. But I do have 2 copies of Fire the Cannons, which I'm going to be hoping are on top of my deck. And really, this would be absolutely cooked for me if it wasn't for the Chromicon. But I'm going to be... Alright, I'm ready. I can start. Good to go. I'm ready when you are, Kurt. Are you good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
Awesome. Alright, best of luck.
Yeah, good luck. Let's have fun.
Yeah, nice one, mate.
You go first.
Yep.
Okay.
Cheers. Alright, we already shuffled decks and watched each other cut. We did a die roll. I am going first. Thank goodness. So let's talk about what I'm looking for exactly. Well, that's a good start. I'm looking for a curve. I'm looking for quite an aggressive curve, and I'm looking for Fire the Cannons. So this I'm always keeping. Pretty sure I'm always going to keep the Chromicon. I'm never going to keep the Cobra and the Merlin. I probably just keep this. I think this is a pretty stable hand. So I can go Maleficent on 1. The, Snake is quite good as well on 1. On turn 2, I could go Diablo. I'm a bit nervous. Like my gut feeling is a safe mulligan is reasonable going first, and it should just be these 2. I think I'm just going to lock it in. I could actually get rid of the Pete, but that could end up proving to be a bit of a disastrous move. It's going to be 2 for me, mate.
2. I think I'm just gonna keep.
That is not what I wanted to hear. Okay, that's pretty scary up against Emerald Steel.
Yeah, it's normally all or nothing, and this time I'm liking nothing.
Okay. I'm wishing I picked a different pile when we cut then.
Yeah. One, two, three is good.
Cool. So 1 on top of 2 on top of 3. All right. Best of luck, mate.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is, what is the turn 1 play? I think it's going to be Smee that goes into the ink for us, to be honest. It's like turn 1, turn 2. Turn 3, turn 4. Oh, ink Mr. Smee. He has Diablo 1-drop. He would never not mulligan if he didn't. So the question is, do we go Churnabogs or 1-drop Diablo? And I think it's Churnabogs. For 1, I'm going to play Churnabogs Followers. And I'll pass. So the reason we go for Churnabogs Followers is it can trade for Diablo technically. But if he's got Diablo Shift and I don't have Fire the Cannons, it's going to be a tall order to begin with.
We're going to.
But we've got the Chromicon.
Ursula. And play a spy.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to move everything up here. So it's the Churnabogs that's in hand. Churnabogs on the board, sorry. And this is my hand.
Cool. So you have Diablo, Maleficent, Pete, Chromicon?
Yep.
Sounds good. Okay. That's it for me.
Thank you. Alrighty. And draw. Wow. Wow, let's go. What a high roller. Okay, chat. We're cooking. Well, I believed in the heart of the cards. One for fire the cannons. On to Diablo.
Nice.
We're going to quest. We're not going to draw. The question is, do we play the Maleficent or do we play a Diablo? The obvious play is the Maleficent, but there's actually a good chance it's Diablo. I'm going to take my time on this one. Pretty sure we're always inking a Diablo. The thing is that we can pair the Maleficent with the Pete on turn 4, which is quite a nice combo, right? It's like, play this now, could draw off the Chernobyls, we could just... I would quite like to keep both of these. Quest for 1. No trigger. I'll ink Diablo. Play Maleficent. Pass. Alright, we're off to a good start. We won the die roll, we found the fire the cannons. Obviously would have led with Maleficent on one.
Pay 1 for a spy.
What was that, sorry? Yeah.
Pay 1 for another spy.
Sure.
Should still be Pete, Chronicon, Diablo. Yep. Cool. I'm also going to ink Ursula.
Second Ursula into the ink.
Yeah, just play another spy.
Wow,
and
okay.
I'll pass turn.
Do you want me to flash the hand again just so we follow the rules? Don't want to get in trouble, do we? Alright. I'm going to draw for turn. So, we're always playing the Chromicon here. Cards in hand, please, mate.
4.
Thanks. Very good chance of shifts coming through. There's a decision on the draw, really. I think there's a good chance we're supposed to draw off the Chernobyls followers here. It's going to trade. I'd probably quite like the draw still. He's not going to draw from it either. The thing is we're going to go Chromicon this turn either way. We're never playing Pete here. But if we're going to play Chromicon, we should probably just draw off the Chernobyls first. Because the thing is like, 4 in hand, he would have to discard an action and have a Storm or Strength, but the chances are of that are very, very high. So I think I'm going to draw off the Chernobyls here. I'll quest form with Chernobyls followers. Going to banish it to draw a card. So this also does give us the option of going like Diablo Gathering Knowledge, but there's no real reason not to develop the Chromicon here, to be honest. I'm going to pay 2 for Amethyst Chromicon. I'm going to exert Amethyst Chromicon, so I'm going to draw and you may draw.
Alright, I'll take that.
Yeah. Thought you might. Going to quest for 2 with Maleficent. Bit of a decision on the ink. I think it's just Chernobyls followers that goes. But no, we can pair Chernobyls with Pete next turn. So I think it's Cobra that goes. Because this is our next play. It's always Diablo here. I'm going to ink Giant Cobra. And for 1, play Diablo. And then I'll pass, mate. 3 cards in hand.
Ready, draw.
We're off to a good start. He only has 4 1-drops in his deck and he found 3 of them. That's crazy. But
I'm going to shift a Diablo. Discarding Let the Storm Rage on.
He's got a bit of a delay, that's why it's Yep. Big shout out to Card Market who sponsored the video. Thanks, Card Market. Yep.
I will ink Ursula. And pay 3 for another Diablo 3.
Mm-hmm.
And quest for 1.
Sure.
So it'll be a 1 more, 3 ink, and I'll pass.
All right. Thanks. I'm going to ready and draw for turn.
Okay, I'll draw for Diablo.
Yeah. Cards in hand, please.
3.
Thank you. So obviously the read here is that they don't have another song in hand yet. So the question here becomes, do we actually want to draw off the Chromacon immediately or not? Like what we could do here is we could ink Chernobog's, play Goat. I tell you what we're always doing, we're always questing. The Goat seems pretty appealing because they're telegraphing with their play that they don't have a strength. But I mean, they very well could. I have to say that just Pete plus Chernobox is a pretty clean play as well. Like I told you, they're going to end up with 1,000,000 cards in hand. I don't think we stop drawing with the Chromacon, to be honest. Obviously, it gives them a chance of drawing into the removal, but I think that's fine. They're going to draw so much anyway. Like one extra card now feels like it might be bad, but realistically, they're going to have 20 cards in hand soon enough anyway, so it would be foolish not to. I'm going to draw off Chromacon, and you may draw.
Okay, so I will first draw off Chromacon.
Yep.
And then I will draw one from Diablo.
Yep. So the Fox is a much more appealing ink than what we had. The question is, do we just go Goat or do we go Pete plus Chernobogs? And I think it's Pete plus Chernobogs, to be honest. I'm going to ink Fox. I'm going to pay...
That's a nice fox.
Yeah. Thank you. It's my only one. It's my one. I'm going to pay 1 for Chernobogs. And I'll pay 3 for Pete. And Diablo will quest for 1. And I'm going to pass with 2 cards in hand.
Alright.
I told you, mate, he's going to end up with so many cards in hand, but that's fine. I've got Pete's, and hopefully we just find some bounce for the Pete. Fox kind of bounces Pete, but not really. That's why I got rid of it here. Could have considered keeping it, honestly. I probably should have thought a little bit more about keeping Fox over the Goat there. But I can't go Fox and Pete next turn, so I'd be holding the Pete in hand, but maybe that's enough, honestly.
I will ink Sudden Chill.
Alright.
And pay 3 for my own Pete.
Yep.
One of my Diablos will challenge your Diablo.
Okay, I'm going to draw for Diablo.
And my other Diablo will quest up to 2.
Yep.
And my third Diablo will hang out.
Okay.
And I'll pass.
Cool. I'm going to ready. I'll draw for turn.
Okay. I'll draw 2 from Diablos.
Yep, thought you might. Pretty happy to see that Diablo not quest, actually. It's a bit of a race, but I feel like it seemed. My early impression is I've probably tested the matchup a lot more than they have, which isn't surprising. This probably means a lot more to me than it does to them, but that's fine. So we're always going Snake Pete here. There is now an argument not to draw off the Chernobogs followers, interestingly, because it does draw them a lot of cards, which isn't a huge deal, but it's more so. There's also Pete in play this turn, right? From them. I'm going to draw off Amethyst Chromacon. You may draw.
Okay. I'll draw 1 for Chromacon and 2 for Diablos.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards. Cards in hand, if you can count
now
them.
I have 9.
Okay. Pete. Let's see here. So the big decision is, am I drawing off Chernobogs? And I think I'm not. I think I actually just want him to take the trade. I don't think I value the card in hand that much. I don't want him to quest. He can take it out with Pete, but if he takes it out with Pete, he can't take my Pete out unless he goes like Hidden Cove. So I think I'm leaving the Chernobogs where it is. So therefore I would be inking Benja, playing Snake, playing Pete. But then again, it's like 1 quest. It's interesting. I don't know what to do with this Chernobogs. I'll quest for 1 with Pete. For 2, I'm going to play Snake. Bounce Pete. I'll ink Benja for 3. Play Pete.
Nice.
And I'm going to get crucified if I draw off Chernobyx followers now, but I don't even care. Still haven't decided. Doesn't really matter. Like, the Benja's always getting inked. It's the worst card in my deck. So even though this is technically an inconsistency, there's literally nothing else I could draw that I would ever ink. I still don't know what to do. I'll quest form with Chernobyx and think very hard on if I'm drawing or not. I'm going to banish to draw and get crucified. You may draw.
Okay, I'll draw 2.
Yep. Pass. The thing is, I know for a fact that Benja is the most common ink in this matchup for me. It really don't matter. I don't know about that draw. I just wanted to draw into more Pete's. That's the logic at this stage.
I'm going to shift the Diablo.
Yep.
Starting with the scoring range on. How many cards?
4.
I play 2, 4, and Ursula.
Yep. So I've got
And
2 goats, a Benja, and gathering knowledge.
okay, cool. Then I'll ink Muses, play another Pete for 3.
Yep.
And quest with everybody for 4.
Sure.
So I'm up to 6 lore, 5 ink, and I'll pass.
Yep. I'm good ready. And I'll draw.
Okay, I'll do all 3 Diablos.
2 Chromacons is usually the sweet spot. It's kind of early to go for the double. Always going to draw for Chromacon here. I'll draw for Chromacon. You may draw.
Alright. Draw for Chromacon. And draw for 3 Diablos.
So Pete's in play. There's not really a clean play. I would like to probably try and bounce my Pete, because the thing is if I'm not playing Pete's...
It puts me to 14 cards.
Yeah, thank you. I might mill you at this rate.
I know, I gotta start considering not drawing at this point.
The thing is I gain very little by just going Broom Goat, and this Chromacon Goat is basically better. I'm going to go 2 for Amethyst Chromacon. I'm going to exert Chromacon to draw.
Okay, I'll draw for Chromacon. I will draw for the first Diablo. I will decline the other 2.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You have to at some point. So I've spent... I mean, it's just Goat Broom. The question really with the Broom is, do I actually draw off it immediately? And probably not. It doesn't really make much sense. Oh no, it's just Goat in it. Let's just go. So I could go Honey Marin, or I could go Benja Broom, but I think it's just always Goat. I'm gonna ink Benja. For 4, I'll play Goat. Pete and Snake are gonna quest up to 10, and I'll pass.
All right. Ready. Draw. How many cards in hand now?
4.
Okay, thanks.
I imagine the goat's gone, but then we're at 11 anyway. The problem is if he can race us. It's definitely tight. But he's going to have to start removing stuff, right? We haven't had the quickest of starts, honestly. Like, we had a pretty speedy start, but we only had Maleficent quest for 2. Everything else has just been questing for 1. Probably should ask to see the discard in a minute, to be honest. But yeah, shout out to Card Market again, who sponsored this stream.
Alright.
I appreciate you guys very much.
Ursula 2.
Yep. Alright, so I've got...
I'm going to...
You inked Ursa 2, was it? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's an ink. Sorry.
That's alright.
The Ursula 2.
Yep.
I'm gonna sing a strength with one of the Peats on Merlin Goat.
Yep, I'll gain 1 law. Yep, gain 1 law.
I'm gonna pay 4 to shift a Peat.
Okay.
And
sing
I will
Bruno.
challenge Pete.
Yep.
So I'll take 2 from that.
This is honestly pretty fine for us. I think he's not racing enough.
I'll sing another strength on Mim.
Yep.
With Diablo. I'll quest for 3 with Ursula and the 2 Diablos.
Sure.
Up to 9. And with my last 2 ink, I'll play a Mr. Shmee.
Yep.
And pass the turn.
Alright. I'm going to ready. And I'll draw for turn.
I will use all 3 Diablos.
Okay. Draw for Chromacon.
I will draw for Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use at least 2 Diablos. And I'll use the 3rd.
Sure. Draw for Chromacon.
Okay, I'm gonna count my deck real quick. I have 20 cards left. I'm gonna draw for Chromacon. Draw for all 3 Diablos.
Mm-hmm. So the problem we have here is that I didn't hit Maleficent. This is a really bad hand, believe it or not. Like, what I want to be able to do here is I want to be able to go Pete, Maleficent, Maleficent, something like this. Finish the game with Goat, Honey, Marin. I need to count how much he's questing for. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm on a 1-turn clock. The problem is as well, with this many cards in hand, he's going to have a Pete to deny my last law gain as well. So I'm probably banking on a Honey, Marin, Goat for the last turn. So what we want to do here is we want to develop a board as wide as possible with Pete, but I just didn't really draw the right tools for it. But we also might just be able to bank on Cobra. So it's probably, we can get to 7. We're probably looking at, the Fighter Cannons does very little here. We're probably looking at Pete plus Broom.
How many cards in hand do you have now?
I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand.
Okay.
We're probably looking at Pete plus Broom is 4. I think we need to play the Gathering Knowledge. That's 6. It just doesn't really add up that cleanly at all. It's really not good, mate. So I guess it's just Pete, Honey Marin, Gathering Knowledge for 7. I could go Pete plus Goat as well. But I think the Gathering Knowledge needs to come out now. Because of Pete next turn. Could I please see your discard pile quickly?
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
It's 2 strengths, 2 storms, and a spy.
Okay. Cool, thank you. Pete's coming down next turn. We have to play around that. So it's 2 for Gathering. And it's 3 for Pete. That's 5. We're always playing that. And I've only got 2 ink left. So it's either Honey Marin and Broom or Fire the Cannons and Broom. The Fire the Cannons does very, very little. Unfortunately, in this position. Does basically nothing. The Broom is annoying, man. So I'm going to go 2 for Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. Puts me to 13. Yeah. I'm going to go 3 for Pete.
Okay.
I'm going to Ink Magic Broom. And I'm going to go 2 for Honey Marin. Which gains me 1 law because you have an exerted character. And I'll pass. Doesn't look good, does it, man? This is the turn I really needed something better.
You have 4 cards left.
3 cards in hand, yeah. I really needed a wide board with my Pete here, man. I wanted Brooms, Diablos, Chernobogs, Maleficents. I just didn't find it.
No actions.
Just didn't find it, mate. And I think that's just, we're just too far for it. 16. He's going to play Pete this turn, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards left.
There's no point playing as if maybe we had to. I don't even think we can play around him not having Pete here. Like he's gonna have Pete in it. I really needed a wide board this turn. Pete, Maleficent. Like this is what the deck is supposed to do. You're supposed to get to this stage and you go Pete, Maleficent.
I paid 1 for a spy.
Chernobogs. But we somehow missed them all, man. I drew so many cards. Yeah, I've got. Sorry, I'm monging out. I got Goat, Fire the Cannons, and Fox.
Goat, Fox, Fire the Cannons. Okay. So as is, you can gain 4.
I think we're just short of it, man. It's a tough matchup, but this was
Goat, Fox,
definitely we had the makings of a game we could win. We just needed like to go wide this turn. This was the turn of Pete. Bam, bam, bam. Go wide.
I can gain 10, but that doesn't matter too much.
We kind of got the Chromacons down a bit too early as
well. I think a Hidden Cove.
2 Chromacons feels like the sweet spot, but this is almost excessive. But fair play. He played quite slowly, but seemingly slow enough.
There's no way anything.
The 3 1-drops is crazy.
It happened to my board to deal with it.
He plays 4 1-drops. He hit 3 of them. That is crazy.
I just have to worry about more gathering knowledges. So 6 ink. I need 2 plus that. That doesn't really matter. Okay. So then I'm going to pay 2 for Doc, and I'm going to discard. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 21 cards going into the bin. And I'll draw 2.
Can I guess that there was no Pete's in that hand?
No. So I had 2 Shmees.
That's crazy.
2 Storms. I had a Pirate Pete, Cricky, 2 Brunos, Sudden Chill, another Pirate Pete.
Yeah.
4 Prince Johns, 2 Strength, Ursula, Hidden Cove, 3 Hypnotize. So I won't be needing those.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to use 3 of my ink remaining here to play Pete.
No, he's found it.
And then I'm going to quest with all my characters. 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 19. And then I'll pass.
Yep. So Pete's down, no actions. I'll draw.
Yeah, I'll draw for Diablos.
I'm going to draw for Chromacon. Tell me when I'm good to
go. I'll draw for that. No Diablos.
Yep. Draw for Chromacon.
Draw for Chromacon. And no Diablos.
Quest for 2, up to 16. I'm going to go... One for Magic Broom. Four for Goat. Game 1 Law. Banish Magic Broom. Draw a card. Ink Benja. 3 for Fox. Pick up Goat. Game 1 Law. Pass. GG.
Alright, good game.
I had the Gathering Knowledge in hand as well.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
I
The
thought I was gonna have
Chromacons were
the
really good for you.
Maleficent's what we were looking for, to be honest. The Cobra's at the bottom as well. The Cobras and all the Maleficents are down there. That's what we were looking for towards the end. But yeah, it is what it is, man. I think I played reasonably well. I'm not really sure there's much I would have done differently. I knew I was in a tough spot. I definitely got the game into a position where we could have won. So let's try and make it 1-1 and see. Going on a draw, we need an absolute miracle. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. It was like around that turn we needed the Cobra, for example, to just come down and do a job. We had to go Broom to like cycle the deck at that point, whereas like, if I hit Cobra, I couldn't even do Cobra bounce. But Cobra is like the most efficient burn at that stage. Free ink for 2 law. We were definitely in a winning position, but just didn't quite find what I needed at the right times. I hit a very good opening hand. So did they. So I think that was a pretty good effort, man, to be honest. I'll go first in this one again.
Alright, sounds good.
Can't be too unhappy about that. And the one thing that's definitely people will call out is the Benja. Like, I inked Benja before I drew. But to be honest, it literally didn't matter. I'm always inking Benja, which is why I just decided to play it like that. And whatever. People watching be like, yeah, that was wrong. But if you've got 2 Benjas in hand and you literally know you're always inking Benja no matter what you draw, it's still wrong. It's sloppy. But I was worried about time pressure, to be honest. Like I got called out for slow play a little bit in the previous round. So I was just thinking, well, if I make this, I can think longer on that decision because I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Dropping cards everywhere. I'll go 3, 2, 1, please, mate.
Alright. I'll do the same.
Alright. Best of luck.
Yeah, good luck.
I think we got very unlucky towards the end there, man. Well, it's a new game. We hit Fire the Cannon, so earlier I can't be too unhappy, really. So, sounds kind of interesting. We're always keeping this. And this. We're never keeping this. We're never keeping this. Never keeping this. We're never keeping this. The question is this guy, really. I think with this many cards mulligan, it's probably just worth shipping it. Getting rid of him. Trying to dig for Fire the Cannons. We've got like 5 turns still to draw him. Five chances here to draw for the 3 others. And then turn 4 is when I would want to peat, which is 3 more draws. So I have like 8 chances of drawing another peat, plus the cantrips. I think it's gotten rid of. I'm going to mulligan 5, keeping 2. 1,
Yeah, I'll
2,
do 5 as
3,
well.
4, 5. It's a good hand, man. It's a good hand. I can't say I'm drawing badly to begin the game. I think it was just in that mid to late game where we got a little bit unfortunate. Like the Cobra's there, man. They would have turned on the absolute burner, but that would have been so clean if we hit it. Would have been so clean, man. Our turn 3 was kind of slow in that game as well. Like I put the Chromacon down on 3. You really don't want to play until 4. But you can also go Pete on 4, so...
I'll do 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. You did say 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah, you want to do the same?
Yeah.
Or
Thank you.
what do you want?
Yeah, that works for me, mate.
Cool.
All right, best of luck.
Yeah, good luck.
I will ink Goat and for 1 play Maleficent. Pass.
Alright. Okay. Ink, we don't talk about Bruno. And pass.
Okay. I'll draw. Bro, I don't even remember how many cards they're mulliganed. I need to pay more attention, man. So we're always playing these two down. The question is what to ink. I mean, it's kind of got to be the snake. The snake is very good, though. Not going to lie, the snake is very, very good with Pete. I'd like to ink this. Obviously, I can't. I'm going to ink Madam Imp Snake. Play Diablo for 1, Magic Broom for 1, and Quest for 2. And then pass.
Draw.
Snake's very, very good for the repeat on 5.
I will ink Pirate Pete and play 2 for Ursula.
Yep. I've got Pete, Chromacon, and Gathering Knowledge.
Nice. Okay, that's it for me.
Thank you. I'm going to ready, and I'll draw. Quest for 4, up to 6. So obviously we're always questing. The question is, what do we do now? We're never popping the broom because we're overloading the removal. There's no need to Pete here. Honey Marin does nothing, so the choice is very clear, right? It's always Chromacon. I'll pay 2 for Amethyst Chromacon, and I'm going to draw for Chromacon. You may draw. And I will ink Benger and pass.
Okay.
3 cards in hand.
Draw.
The key thing is that we have to get the Chromacon down before he can start discarding our hand as well. And Pete's good on the next turn anyway. He goes Ursula free. I just drop Pete on him. Obviously Ursula's going to take out the Maleficent here, but that's why we didn't pop the broom anyway. It's not threatened in any way, shape or form. Unless he hard costs Storm, which is very slow.
I think Ursula.
Yep.
I'll pay 3 and let the Storm Rage on Magic Broom.
Okay.
Draw. And I'll challenge Maleficent.
Sure.
And I'll pass.
Alright. I'm going to ready and draw for turn. We're not threatened by this play at all. We don't even want to take the Pete just yet either. I'm going to draw for Chromacon.
Okay. I'll draw.
Sure. So we probably go Honey Marin plus Smee and just ink the Cobra would be my intuition. We want to develop a wide board. Alternative, yeah. We could go like Honey Marin Gathering Knowledge, but that just doesn't achieve what we want, which is a wide board at this stage. overloading the removal. Quest form with Diablo up to 7. I'm gonna ink Giant Cobra. I'm gonna pay 2 for Honey Marin, gain a lore. And pay 2 for Smee. 2 cards in hand, pass.
Okay. Ready, draw.
Uh-oh. Hello?
Oh yeah, I think your screen just turned off for a second.
Yeah,
But
likewise. You okay? I'm back. Are you back?
yeah, I think everything's good.
Cool.
I'm gonna pay 3 for Prince John.
Sure.
I'm gonna use Ursula to sing Sudden Chill.
Mm-hmm. I'll discard Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom.
Okay, I'll draw for Prince John.
Mhm. Ink Mrs. Yep. Ink Mrs. Me, they said.
I'll pass turn.
Alright. I'm gonna ready and draw. Cards in hand, please.
I have 7.
Thank you. Well, I'll give you another if you like, so I'm gonna draw for Chromacon.
Yeah, I'll go to 8.
So it seems like the play is Chromacon plus Pete. Don't think I really want to ink. I think if we just get the second Chromacon down, we just win. The Broom is actually better here in this position, to be honest. I mean, we could go Broom, Pete, no quest. I don't think that makes much sense. Could also go Honey Marin into Ursula, but I don't think that makes much sense either. Does deny strength, but we're playing Pete anyway. I would like to get the Broom down this turn, I'm not going to lie. But I think the second Chromacon is worth it. 2 for Chromacon. I'm going to draw off Chromacon.
Alright, I'll draw a card.
I'm going to ink Chernobog's Followers. And go 3 for Pete. No actions.
Nice.
Diablo will quest for 1. So we'll take my Lord to 5. My ink to 5. Smee will quest for 2. And then do our challenge. I think I'm just going to quest as well with Honey Marin. I'll pass with Smee taking 1 damage. 1 card in hand, mate.
Alright. Ready, draw.
I think we did enough to win this game 1, you know. I won a die roll anyway. We can treat it like I lost a die roll. I did draw very well to begin the game. Not going to lie. Thing is as well, if I'd gone Maleficent on turn 1, knowing I was going to draw the Fire the Cannons. But it was incorrect to play Maleficent on turn 1. Probably a lot of people are watching that like, why don't you play Maleficent on turn 1? Because if I have Fire the Cannons, if I don't have Fire the Cannons, it's bad. It's also bad if I don't have
Pay 1
Snake.
for a spy.
Yep, Magic Broom is in hand.
Okay. Then Prince John and Ursula will both challenge Mr. Shmee.
Okay.
I'll pay 2 for Mr. Shmee.
Mm-hmm.
I will ink a Space Pirate Pete. And pass turn.
Yep. Ready, and draw for turn. Seems pretty good. Cards in hand, please.
I have 7.
Thanks. I mean, the question is how good is the dock actually? Because we could also just use the, could also just discard the dock, right? We could discard the dock, with a Cobra. So the question is, like, how much do we really want to play the dock in? I think the answer is not that much. We could Ink Broom then play dock. It's probably the play, right? We Ink Broom then play dock. I think that's kind of fine. Gives us a good chance of drawing a Pete. The Broom's very good though here as well, to be honest. Like, Broom plus dock is also very reasonable. But I only have 3 ink left, but I think that's fine. I think I'm just going to go for that, honestly. I'll pay 1 for Broom. 2 for dock. No cards in
Nice.
hand. Draw 2. Draw for Chromacon. You may draw.
You're not using the broom for dock, right?
No. Thank you.
Cool. I will draw.
Draw for Chromacon. You may draw.
Sounds good. Draw.
I'm going to quest for 3 up to 15. I mean, the question is here, do I play Benja or do I play Smee, or do I just play Gathering Knowledge? I mean, if he plays Pete, he can't beat me, so we're just winning, right? Let's not drag it out too much. I'm going to Ink Benja. And for 2, I'll play Mr. Smee. Pass with 2 cards in hand.
Ready, draw.
I fear it's too little too late. It's very, very tough to win going second. It's very tough. I did do it like 2 times in like 20 practice games, like 10%. Probably a bit less than 10%, to be honest. Probably did it like 2 times out of 30. And I'm not
I don't
sure.
think it's gonna matter, but
I'm not sure that's gonna happen. I'll give it my very best go. We'll probably mulligan very aggressively. I do think we did enough to win game 1, I have to say. I think on average we win that game with the way. It'll be interesting to look it back and see. Even a small little mistake there was very, very
Shift
close.
Diablo.
I think we just got a little bit unlucky with the late game draws. Didn't quite hit what we needed.
I'll discard Sudden Chill.
Alright.
I will sing Let the Storm Rage on Magic Room.
Sure.
Draw card. I will pay 3 for another Diablo. I will ink Hypnotize. I'll pay 3 for Strength of the Raging Fire on Mr. Shmee.
Mhm.
And I will challenge your Pete with my Mr. Shmee.
Yep.
And I will pass.
Alright. Already. Draw. I'll go Gathering Knowledge and
Sure.
Quest.
Sweet.
GG.
Good game.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I really want to win this. I really want to win this. It's a pretty good game, Disney Arcana, I'm not gonna lie. It's quite a good game. It's quite fun. But yeah, we need a bit of a miracle. So in terms of mulligan, we probably just go crazy. We need them to miss. Like if they shift Diablo, I keep dropping it. If they shift Diablo, we We probably need them to draw quite badly. And I need to draw cards which probably don't exist in my deck. Nah, it's doable. It's not that doable, guys. I'm not going to lie. I was in JDZ's chat earlier. JDZ. I call him JDZ because I'm English, innit? And I was like, yeah, so the main line in this
when you're ready, I'll go first game 3.
The main line in this matchup is to roll double 6. So I didn't do only hit a 6, but it was enough to go first. Unfortunately, that game 1 I feel like is going to be the pivotal one, so it'll be definitely interesting to watch it back. I'll even do it straight after this. We'll do a little VOD review.
I'll do 2, 1, 3 for yours.
Yep. Let's go for the same. 2, 1, 3. You're going first, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll go first.
Best of luck.
Good luck.
Please miss Diablo. I think even if he misses Diablo, we're in trouble. It's a pretty good hand, you know. That's a good start. I don't think we should go too crazy. I think we keep that and get rid of the rest. We just look for Pete's. We look for fire cannons in particular. We'll wait to see how much they mulligan because that definitely has an impact.
I'll get rid of 6.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. So getting rid of 6 is probably keeping a 1-drop Diablo or a 3-drop. The Fox is good. Like all of this is good, but we really want to draw into it. It's like turn 1, turn 2. Probably. A lot of people are like, surely you're keeping Smee, but like when would I even play it? It's like turn 1, turn 2, probably. Turn 3. Like this is my first 3 turns. Unless I hit a fire the cannons. I'm never keeping them. I don't think I'm ever keeping that. Nah. I'm going to go for 4, keeping 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the hand got worse, but we had to take risks. Didn't get that much worse, really. The goats going to the ink. We'd rather just have the goats in the deck, right, rather than in the ink. But the goats aren't really that good in that matchup. They're so expensive. Honestly, goats kind of cuttable in this deck is pretty slow compared to some of the rest of it. You're never going to cut it. You could. You know, I'm not playing White Rose either because Honey Marin's more efficient. Very small pile in the middle here for me. I'll go for a 3.
Alright, I'll go 3, 2, 1 on yours.
I was going to say 3, 2, 1 as well.
Alright, I'm going to kick it off by inking Mr. Shmee, and I will play a spy.
Rats. I was hoping you might not have that.
That was the only thing I kept. Alright, we've got 2 goats, Maleficent, Chromicon, Snake, Gathering, Shmee. Okay. It is your turn.
Alright, thanks, mate. I'll draw. Not the fire cannons we're looking for. So obviously he could have Shift Diablo Sing Storm, but whatever. Ink Goat. Play Maleficent. Pass.
Alright. Ready, draw. I'll ink Hypnotize. I'll play Mr. Shmee, and I'll quest for 1. 2 ink, 1 lower, and I'll pass.
Alright. I'll draw for turn. Okay. Big. We have a chance. No Shift Diablo. So, it's always Snake here. Feels quite slow, but it's actually not. It's always Snake. What would the alternative play be? It would be like Spino Quest. It's always Snake. Snake's pretty good here. Quest for 2. Ink Merlin Goat. 2 for Snake. Pick up Maleficent and pass.
Alright. Ready, draw.
It's still a slow start, but it's not like I even have the double one drop play anyway. Maleficent's good. Very, very good card in this deck with Pete especially. Like 10-4 Maleficent Pete, something like this. We don't need to take the Chromacon too early either because they are going to be a little bit card starved. The concern here is going to be if they slam Ursula
I'm going to
without Pete.
King Strength of a Raging Fire
Could be like Honey Marin Chernobyl
and
maybe.
pay 3 to play Prince John.
Okay, no Ursula.
And I'll use Mr. Shmee to sing Sudden Chill.
Yep. Cards in hand, please.
2.
Thank you. So Prince John's going to be the card draw engine. I'm pretty sure we get rid of Gathering because it's uninkable. It's too early. I'll discard Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom.
Alright. I'll draw for Prince John.
There's a good chance we trade Smee for
I will shift Diablo, discarding Sudden Chill.
That's bad.
And I'll quest for 1.
Yep.
Up to 2. Mr. Shmee will take a damage, and I will pass the turn.
Alright. Cards in hand, please. Well, I'm going to draw, should maybe.
Yeah, so then I'll draw for 1 and go up to 2.
2 cards in hand, right. Thank you. We've got a chance here. I think we have to trade the Smee. The problem is that they can start racing us. I've practiced this matchup a lot. They can definitely start racing us. You have to ask the question, though, if I quested the Snake, would he ever take the trade? And I think the answer is no. He's just going to quest. He's just going to quest with Smee. He's going to get 2 more Laura, 6. Prince John's already putting him to 10, 8. We got to take the trade, in my opinion. It's too early for the Chromacon. The Honey Marin feels a little bit early. I quite like the sound of Smee. They're just ink strength. So I'm a bit more worried about Storm. I can't exactly play around Storm that well. I think we're going to take the trade. The question is, what are the 2 drops? Or what's the play? It's too early for Chromacon. It's Smee. It's probably just Smee Maleficent, isn't it, really? I could snake it back the following turn. I'll be at 4 ink. I kind of need to go Chromacon next turn. So what am I playing alongside the Chromacon? Maybe Honey Marin, maybe Snake. I think it's Snake in it. We'll bounce the Maleficent back. I'm going to ink Chinabox Followers. I'll go 2 for Smee, 1 for Maleficent. And I will challenge Mr. Smee with Snake.
Okay.
I have 3 cards in hand.
And it's my turn?
Yep.
Cool. Ready, draw.
Like, fire the cannons here. Would have been big. It's probably...
Diablo will sing Let the Storm Rage on Maleficent.
Yep.
Draw card.
Sure. We couldn't play around Storm, so that's why we just took the Maleficent.
I'll pay 3 for another Diablo. And I will ink Pete.
Sure.
And I'll pass turn.
Alright. I'll draw for turn.
4, yes. And I'll draw for Diablo.
Cards in hand, please.
2.
Thanks. It's only 2 cards in hand. There's an argument to say it's still too early for Chromacon, to be honest. We're always going to quest with Smee. We could play Chromacon and not draw off it as well, but I think we need to keep inking each turn, to be honest. I think that their hand's going to be filling up so much anyway. It's time for the Chromacon, realistically. And we could also... I think we're going to leave Smee on the board. They might have another Storm. Let's see the discard. Could I see the discard pile, please?
Yeah. Storm, Shmee, and 2 Sudden Chills.
Cool, thank you. Storm, Smee, 2 Sudden Chills. Yeah, thanks. I know we saw like 1 Strength get inked as well. I don't think it's likely that they have that, if any, more songs in hand right now. We're always questing for 2, right? Snake doesn't make much sense in this spot. Honeymaron feels a little bit weak. The Chromacon draws them 2 cards, and it doesn't develop the board at what could be a reasonably good moment to develop the board, though. I have to play the Chromacon, I think. It could be Chromacon, don't draw, play Honeymaron, but I think I'm just going to play Chromacon and draw, to be honest. It's a big decision. Let's stall by questing for Smee. Smee will quest for 2, up to 4. Bear with me on this one. I think we've just got a draw of Chromacon this time. Snake can keep us in the game with Pete. We don't want to use Snake on this. 2 for Chromacon. I'm going to draw off Chromacon. Whoops, almost drew too many cards. Not quite, though.
Okay, so I'll draw 1 for Diablo, or 1 for Chromacon, sorry, and then 1 for Diablo.
Sure. I will ink Honeymaron. I'm going to go 1 for Churnabogs, 1 for Magic Broom. And I'll pass with Smee taking 1 damage. Pretty clean.
Alright.
Pretty clean. It's an uphill battle, but we're doing all right. We're doing our very best, mate. It's a real uphill battle, but we really are. We've put on a good show.
I'm gonna have
We've made a game of it, haven't we?
Diablo Sing Sudden Gel.
Yep. Discard Snake.
Okay. 4 card opens down. Cards in hand after that.
0.
Okay.
Would have been funny if I already had 0.
Just yeah, I thought there was at least 1. Let's make it fair. So now Diablo will sing a storm on Mr. Smee.
Yep.
Draw a card.
Two songs is a lot, but obviously the Chromacon drew a lot. It was still the correct decision.
I'll ink Hypnotize. We'll pay 2 for Ursula and 3 for another Ursula. And Prince John will quest for 2.
Alright.
So I'm at 5 ink, 4 lore, and then I will pass the turn.
Alright. I'll draw for turn.
Okay. Draw 2 for Diablos.
Cards in hand, please.
I have 4.
Draw for Chromacon.
Okay. Draw for Chromacon. Draw for both Diablos. Up to 7.
Thanks. So the problem is if we just don't remove our cards, we kind of just get wrecked. I think we have to draw, really. And there's also an argument that we're supposed to trade the Prince John. Prince John questing for 2 is actually very significant, honestly. Like, it is a race. The concern is as soon as we're taking trades like that, are we ever really winning the game? I mean, it's 1 law for 2. It's a trade we probably have to take. It feels like we're the aggro deck and we're not supposed to, but I have a feeling we actually are supposed to take it. So I think what we do is we quest with Broom, we play Pete, and then we can decide what we do with Churnabogs. Quest for 1 with Magic Broom. I'm going to pay 3 for Pete. No actions next turn. I will banish Magic Broom to draw a card.
Okay. I'll draw 2.
Sure. I'm going to pay 1 to fire the cannons. Diablo? Do you have any foil Diablos over there?
No, I've got 2 regulars. One's got a small one underneath.
We'll take the small
You
one.
want to take out the gifted one?
We'll take the small one because I was hoping not to see the small one, so that's my revenge. I am going to challenge Prince John with Chernobog's followers.
Okay.
How many cards was it you had in hand, please?
Now I have 9
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
after
I
after the
will
followers,
Ink Benja
or after the broom rather.
and pass.
Okay.
I have
That was
0.
your last card in hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready, draw, no actions. I'm going to play 2 spies, as well as another Ursula. I will ink Cookie. I will quest with all 3 of these. 7. And I'll pass.
Sure. Ready and draw for turn.
For Diablo.
2 for Doc. Draw 2.
I will also draw 2.
Yep. I'm then going to draw for Chromacon.
Okay. Draw for Chromacon. Draw for Diablo.
Quest form with Pete. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm losing, but I want to play the game out properly to the best of my ability. There is a consideration we go Snake into Doc, but that just seems ridiculously slow. We just have to burn, right? I'll pay 3 for Giant Cobra. Which I could have done with last game. Game 1. I'm going to discard Snake, gain 2 lore. And I will ink Diablo. No cards in hand, pass.
Alright. Ready, draw. I will shift to Diablo, discarding Hypnotize. I will ink Ursula. I will use Ursula to sing a Let the Storm Rage On. The first one will be at the Cobra.
Vanish.
Draw a card, and the second one will be at Pete. Put that on bottom. I'll use Ursula to sing another Storm on Doc for the first. Draw. And Doc for the second as well.
Yep.
Draw. Ursula will challenge Beat off the board. The Diablos will quest for 3. With the 7 ink, 10 lore. I will pay 3 for Pete. 2 for Mr. Shmee. And 2 for Ursula.
Oh, yeah.
And that is my turn.
Alright. I will draw for turn.
Alright, draw 2.
I'll draw for Chromacon.
Draw 1, draw 2.
Alright, so I'm going to go 1 for Chernobogs. 3 for Fox. Pick up Chernabog's. 1 for Chernabog's. And I will challenge. What's your question for over here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, not quite lethal. But if you shift the Pete, you have me. So I have to challenge to maintain my dignity and not get caught off guard by that. I'll challenge. Let's challenge an Ursula. 3-drop.
Alright.
And I'll pass.
Draw. Ursula will sing a strength and make a man out of followers and men.
Yep.
And then I will quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to 17. And play the Muses and Pete for 7. And it's your turn.
Alright, I'll draw. And draw for Chromacon. Oh. 2 for Doc. Ink Pete, 2 for Doc. You keep drawing. And I'll go 3
All right, I will decline the draws.
Okay. Mill was my win condition at this point. Your turn, mate. GG, well played.
Alright, good games. Good games, yeah.
Alright, we'll hop onto the Discord. Hopefully there's been no audio issues today, guys. If there has, I'll definitely have to take my PC apart and try and fix it. There's something dodgy going on. But we'll have an interview now. Definitely game 1 was the big one. I won the die roll. So, can't complain. GG stick out, very good player, very good day. I think I'm pretty happy with how that went, honestly. I think made a game of it, and that was the objective, really.
Better right now. Let's us from the range on and straight to the raging fire, and of course we are in that Pete meta. This deck is just very strong, very consistent. Wow, that game was crazy, Rudos.
Absolutely. Hey, casters, I'm gonna have you guys move to LCC Voice
and then
1
just
so
to
you guys can do your post-game interview.
Speci's list. Okay. Anyone who wants it can get it. Amethyst Steel, Burn. It's not Ruby Amethyst. Such a strong early game package, and then that Dog and Comic-Con having that draw engine.
So we're going to move channels really quick so we can do an interview. I believe he wants us in voice 1.
Sounds good with me. Let's go ahead and go over there.
We're on our way, Phil.
All right,
Hello. What's going on, Speci?
Oh, how's it going?
Man, that was it's going good. It's going good. We just want to say that match was insane. We really enjoyed how that match 3 started out. We felt like you had a really good start to that, and then unfortunately he did top deck that Diablo, and things did go down from there. But what an amazing performance still from your awesome burn deck. What are your thoughts on the match? How everything went down?
Well, I won the die roll, so that was pretty good. I felt if I lost the die roll, I kind of didn't have much chance. I tested the matchup a lot, to be honest. I think I won like 2 times going second out of maybe like 40 games. I tested it a lot. I really wanted to win this one, so it was good fun, man. I'm happy. I'm pretty happy with how I played. As soon as I lost game 1, I knew it was probably toast. But I'll definitely be interested to look back on game 1 because it was very, very close. I wonder if there were some micro decisions. I definitely drew very well to begin the game. Like I could have gone Maleficent on turn 1 if I knew I was top decking the Fire the Cannons for 2, but I didn't know that. He hit 3 of the 4 1-drops in his deck, which was crazy. Like I never saw this line in any of my testing. But I got very, very close. Basically, the problem that I ran into was that my game plan is with the Chromacons. 2 is like the sweet spot I found as well in this matchup. I need to have a turn where it's like I go Pete and a bunch of 1-drops, like go very, very wide. But my hand just didn't really enable it. Like I had to go Pete, and I think it was like only Honey Marin and play like Gathering Knowledge. And it just wasn't quite enough. I think if I hit like Cobra off the top of the last few draws as well, I think I could have got there. Obviously I had to discard the whole hand with Doc to find the Pete, but realistically he was always going to find a Pete. I just kind of said, well, he's going to have a Pete, So I've got to play the Gathering Knowledge now. Unfortunately, didn't quite get there, but I'm pretty happy with how I played overall. So, it was fun.
Yeah, I think that first game was such a nail biter because towards the end of it, we were just me and Rude Rose were just talking about all the different lines that you could get to close out the game, and you did end up drawing the second Knowledge of Wisdom, but Kurt unfortunately had that Pete. You did mention in this matchup how the Chromacon is very important, and the Diablos were just very crucial there. Is that why you have the 2 copies of the Fire Cannons, and then going forward, would you include up to 4 copies of Fire the Cannons?
I actually, honestly, I don't even know how much impact Fire the Cannons ended up making in this matchup, to be honest. Like, if Diablo sits, Diablo sits, because he's just drawing a ton of cards anyway. Like, at some point, it kind of doesn't matter how many cards he's got. Like, obviously, it does. Fire the Cannons, I played in this deck previously. Last set, I played like 3 or 4. I played Befuddles. The big problem with Fire the Cannons really at the moment is it doesn't hit Bell. But obviously, coming into this top 8, I knew the 7 people I could be playing against, and I felt like Fire the Cannons would be putting in some pretty good work against Artabax and LD as well as this matchup because they were on Captain Hooks. But to be fair, I would have got bamboozled because they swapped out the Captain Hook for the Sticky Mickey, so Fire the Cannons wouldn't have done much there, to be honest. It definitely helped. Obviously, I felt like I needed to find it, but yeah, I don't know. Like, Fire the Cannons is definitely very good, no doubt about it. But like, when it's a Bell meta, it's not so good. I think like if you could befuddle Bell, that's one thing I've been thinking about recently. I would love befuddle, but because she costs 3, you can't do that. And Fire the Cannons is bad into Bell too.
Makes sense. Rudros, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. So first of all, congratulations to Kurt. Really appreciate that.
Congrats.
Thank you to both gentlemen for your fun match. Speci, I'll kind of follow up on that with your list. Seeing something like this Diablo and how it kind of took over the game, would that make you want to put more removal-based options in your list? Or do you prefer it as a, you know what, if they see that, they see that, I'm just going to go for this burn lore strategy and just try to go faster?
Yeah. I mean, you could play more Fire the Cannons. Fire the Cannons is obviously an interesting one because it's incredibly efficient. I was definitely like, when I was submitting the deck, I was like, yeah, Fire the Cannons, Doc. They were like the 2 things I wasn't so sure in how many to play. I was like, could I reduce the count of Benja perhaps? I feel like Benja is just a very good card to have in your deck, even if you just ink it every time, which obviously I did in this matchup. But if you play against Sapphire players and they see you don't have Benja, they don't have to respect it. So I felt like I wanted to have Benja still, because Sapphire was still the most likely matchup. But you definitely could trim some of those away to fit in more Fire the Cannons. You do need to be careful with uninkables. I could also see like going down to 2 Docs. But Doc's very good in other matchups. It obviously didn't really do anything that much here. But yeah, Fire the Cannons is a good card. But it also, you know, there's turns where you really wish that Fire the Cannons was ink, and there's turns you really wish that Fire the Cannons was like a 1-drop. I think you could look at like playing Fairy Ships. I think they're kind of interesting. Like the Mickey 1 cost. You've got so many good options, really. So yeah.
No, that's great. I appreciate that insight. Kurt, let me turn it to you. I appreciate you being patient. Once again, congratulations on your big win. So when you're running this Emerald Steel, this is pretty much what we've seen out of Emerald Steel for the last 2 sets. Your only real new card is the Big Pete Space Pirate. Why pick that card? Do you think he's actually really effective? Is it more, you're just not really sure what else to put in there? What made you pick the Pete?
Yeah, thank you. I think Pete is a great new addition to the deck. I, in fact, went from 3 copies in round 1 to 4 copies in the second round.
Nice.
He's just, you know, being inkable makes him very flexible. Typically, this deck wants to play Ursula, Diablo, or Prince John on turn 3, depending on the matchup. But sometimes you can still, especially on the draw against like some steel aggressive decks, you can play Pete on turn 3. They can't strength you. Then turn 4, you can shift it. You get the challenge into one of their 3 strength questers. Pete only takes 2 damage. Then they can't follow up with another 3 damage. They have to do at least 4 to take him out, since you only took 2 off that exchange there. So that just gives the deck like a really nice dimension that it has. All of the pieces being inkable. So when you do have your good draws of Diablo or Prince John and doing their thing very quickly like you want, then you just ink the Petes. But yeah, there's a lot of blue steel, and it seemed like there was more blue steel going into the winner's bracket. So
Yeah.
I went up to 4 Pirate Petes, and yeah, he's great. He lets you Pete again almost because he stops your opponent from singing their songs as well.
Yeah, I kind of forgot he had that text with the song cancellation. I always just thought of him for the resist, but I like that line you described with, okay, you have the 3-drop, cancels actions that turn, and then he follows up and says, oh yeah, you can't sing again anyway. So that seems very effective.
Yeah, it's a good way to take tempo back on the draw. The Space Pirate doesn't do too much against Speci's deck, and it's mostly ink, but you can just turn a Pete into a 2-quester late in the game when you don't have anything else really going on.
Yeah.
I think the fact
Rip,
that it
go
can
ahead.
shift and sing
I'm sorry.
Bruno is quite nice as well. Like Bruno's kind of awkward if you're not playing Beast, and obviously you've got Doc in there. So the fact you've like actually got a card that could shift it and sing Bruno to like get rid of I don't know, like a Tamatos or a Shiny, for example. I think that's like another nice element about the card.
Yeah, I try to have at least a few Bruno singers in here. I played Lucifer round 1, and then I switched Lucifer to Cricky, because Blue Steel aggressive draws with Mr. Shmee were sometimes a problem. Just because there's like a Pluto or something like that in the mix as well. And I know that some of the Blue Steel players had the opportunity to change their deck. Yeah, and so Cricky's just kind of another, like, when things go bad, inkable option, and he can let you challenge the board to turn you play him, and then be able to sing Bruno or Quest for 3 after that.
Very good. Rip? Rip, did I lose you?
Sorry there. Yeah, I want to say congrats, Kurt, for the match. Very well played. It looked like you were playing Sapphire and Steel with the amount of cards that you had in your hand, showcasing how broken Diablo is. What was interesting is I expected you actually to be on some sort of Amber Steel just because of the amount of Sapphire Steel that there is right now in the meta. And with everyone playing Let's Storm the Rage on, what made you want to stick with Diablo? Is it just because you just want to force your opponent to have to enter the Diablo? If they have it, they have it?
Well, so I think with Amber Steel, Cinderella is a card that went from one of the best singers to no longer the best singer on turn 1, now that there's Belle. So Cinderella lost a lot of equity in the metagame. There are still a couple of Cinderella decks that are decent, but they more have to lean into songs for Cinderella to be effective. Amber does have some tools to like grow your strength and gain an advantage against steel decks, but I just feel like now Amber Steel has a really tough time with Sapphire Ruby, and I felt like Emerald Steel was a little bit better at going toe-to-toe with the Sapphire decks as you get into the later stages of the game. You certainly don't have the questing power that Amber has, but because the Sapphire decks got such a boost in speed, I feel like if you do want to play, a non-Sapphire Steel mid-range deck, then Emerald is a good option to kind of keep up with Sapphire, both in their card draw and having Prince John to discard their cards as well. Especially with Tamatoa, they pretty much always have cards to discard. So yeah, I think Emerald Steel is still pretty decently positioned.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. This deck is just very strong. Showcasing how powerful that Diablo can be if it's just left unanswered. And what really Speci had going for him was just that card draw. And then that game 3, you did end up drawing into that Diablo. What were your thoughts there in that game 3 when you drew into him? Were you thinking if you didn't draw into him, you were going to be in a bad spot?
Yeah, I mean that improved my situation a lot. So my plan, I had Prince John and 2 sudden chills and a strength of the Raging Fire, I believe, and then I drew the Diablo. So the Diablo just kind of gave me another way to draw cards and add another singer to the board without having to risk the John, which was really good. I already had the 2 sudden chills to draw cards, but the Diablo just being a guaranteed draw just let me use one of the sudden chills to shift it. And yeah, it ended up mattering a lot when he followed it up with a Chromicon, and it just makes it so that way I can find whatever pieces I need to lock him out of the game once he gets the Chromicons going.
Nice.
Yeah, those Diablos are crazy.
I have a question for you too, Kurt, and Speci, if you want to weigh in on this as well, I'd love your opinion. So obviously in set 4 with the Bucky shift line and all the Floodborns, Emerald Steel was very much thought of as a discard deck, but nowadays really your only discard is what Hypnotize and Sudden Chill. When you think of Emerald Steel as you're building it and playing it, do you think of it as a discard deck, or do you more see it as like a kind of song control card draw deck? How do you think of it?
Yeah, I would say a little more of the latter. It's definitely a song control deck, and the discard just kind of gives you another element of control. Having all inkable discard pieces is nice when you do have to answer the board for the first, 2 through 5 turns of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not end up using any of the discard until later in the game. You may not end up using any of the discard at all, save for, we don't talk about Bruno, taking out, maybe the last thing on board. Your opponent has played all their cards, and so you get a free draw off Prince John. But yeah, for the most part, you're more trying to control the board and draw cards yourself.
So, Speci, do you concur with that? Do you think the new dominant discard is the blue-green that I know you like to run?
Well, I would, but I'm a bit biased. I think like a problem that you have with like these Emerald Steel decks is if you try and fit in much more discard, you just run out of juice elsewhere, right? Like you've got to balance a lot of things in a 60 card deck. You've got to have like the Diablos in there. You've got to have some hidden coves. You need to have some songs. You probably need to play some muses. You do need to, like, what I liked about Kurt's list is that he didn't sacrifice like the Hypnotize and the Sudden Chills. Like those very much stayed in there, and the 4 Brunos.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, what I will see with Emerald Steel lists is people will cut those cards, but ultimately, like the discard avenue that you have gives you so much coverage into the metagame that the fact the deck can function without those cards is also, a strength of the deck for sure. I'm definitely interested in seeing what Sapphire Emerald can do. I think also Amber Emerald, like those two decks can have the potential of being more aggressive with the discard. Whereas Emerald Steel is like a little bit more of like board control plus the option of discard, right? Like your Ursa just threatening to sing Strength or Storm, and then out of nowhere it sings a Sudden Chill is very, very powerful.
Gotcha. Oh, that's awesome.
Good. Thank you guys for your time. I don't know if you want to end it off with any shout outs if you guys want to say right now, but go ahead. This is your time. If Kurt, you want to start it off?
Yeah, shout out to World Class Cards, my team, for helping me prepare for events and get to events as well. We're all going to be down in Atlanta for the Charlie's Collectible Show big event. So that's going to be really fun this weekend. Yeah, and shout out to the Maryland Lorcana scene. We just had a big 64-person event last Saturday. That was really fun. That was ran by
Nice.
Inc. So shout out to them for running an awesome event, and looking forward to more events to come.
Awesome. Shout out them. Speci, go ahead.
I'd like to say thank you to Moyen, who helped me test, as well as Jamie from my locals, who also helped me test. It was very helpful. They had to draw 100 cards every game, but they kept going, even though it was probably a bit boring. So I appreciate them, and thanks to Kurt for the awesome game. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's a pleasure to be involved. But also, there's another LCC game coming up next, isn't there? There's
Yes, there is.
Feartim's playing versus, who is it? Feartim versus.
If I can rate it, I'll go ahead and rate it. Not sure if it's on YouTube or
Yeah,
Twitch.
it's on Twitch and YouTube. It's on Garrick's channel.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and rate them. Well, thank you guys. Rose, any last comments you want to end it off?
No, just want to say thanks to you both for taking the time to entertain us and giving us a nice back and forth match. It wasn't stompy, maybe the last game a little bit, but so it was enjoyable.
I tell you what, that game won, man. That's the game. That game won.
I know.
That game was crazy.
That's the game.
When Kurt used the dock to discard like 20 cards just to stop your potential knowledge and wisdom, I was like, oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Speci.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks all for hanging out. There's another LCC game going on, so let's go over and find out where exactly that's on. It's on Garrick's channel. Look at that. Elmeister comes up. I don't think I follow him. K.I. Garrick. I'm just gonna raid him now, guys. If you want to watch the end of the interview, well, you're not gonna see this, are you? But guys, on hopefully the audio is okay. I hope the audio is okay. /raid KI_Garrick. But yeah, for you guys on YouTube, if you want to watch the next round of the LCC with some blue-green, then you can check it out on Garrick's Twitch. He is also live on YouTube as well, you know. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.